Hey everyone, it's Sean here at Pruce. It's Thursday, so it's time for another Animal Facts Day. First, I need to apologize. I have missed the last couple Thursdays. Things get really crazy here at the store. Sometimes insanely crazy, and I'll be here for like 10, 11, or 12 hours, and time just kind of flies, and I don't always have the time to get to do my videos. I try to do them the day of because I just like them to be fresh. I don't shoot too many things ahead of time. So because of that, I've missed the last couple Thursdays, so I'm sorry. But to make up for it, I'm going to be showing you one of my absolute favorite amphibians of all time. Now this is a frog native to Central and South America that I'm sure you've seen plenty of pictures of. And it is the red-eyed tree frog. Look at how gorgeous she is. Now these guys get tons of photos taken of them because of all the different colors on them and the fact that they literally look like somebody painted them. I mean, you got those bright red eyes, you got the bright orange toes, you have the fluorescent blue underside with white stripes. These are truly a magnificent frog. Now you can see she's doing a lot of walking to get comfortable. They do that. They do a lot of walking, and they can also hop. People always think of toads as doing short little hops and frogs doing giant leaps. Both of them actually do quite a bit of walking along to get where they need, and then frogs can leap out pretty large, and toads not so much. They're a bit too heavy-bodied. Now, there's a lot of interesting features here as we look at her. The first is seeing how green she is. When she decides to hide, and I probably should have brought a second one for you to see, but if you come to the store, you can see. Reason to come to the store. They will kind of curl up and tuck their legs under sides of their body and close their eyes. And what this does is it makes them look like a piece of a leaf. They'll be about that big, kind of rounded looking, and literally blending in with whatever leaf it is that they're sitting on. They're kind of hard to find when they do this because not only are they blending in with the leaves that they're sitting on, but they tend to live in lowland tropical forests, so in some really marshy, wet areas where not a lot of animals are going to tread, and definitely not a lot of people. The other magnificent thing about them is all those colors. So if she's sitting there pretending to look like a leaf and then a predator comes along, she'll open her eyes really quick, and that bright flash of red usually startles a predator. And then when she opens up her legs and shows the bright blues and the bright oranges, that's usually enough to scare a predator off. Because in nature, with the exception of basically songbirds, bright colors are a warning sign to stay away. And in the area where she lives, there's also poison dart frogs. So because of that, a lot of times predators will see all those bright colors and immediately think that this animal is extremely toxic. Now, she's not extremely toxic, but she is toxic, just like most amphibians are. Most amphibians have the ability to push toxins through their skin, and that way it soaks onto their predator's skin or gets in their mouth and makes them sick. Now, the type of toxin that a red-eyed tree frog here has is not enough to really kill anything, but whatever predator tries messing with them, they're not going to feel very good in the morning. Now, the best time to spot these guys is at nighttime. And I can attest to this because I was lucky enough to go down to Panama for a research project a year and a half ago. And at nighttime, we just saw dozens and dozens of these guys right behind the cabin we were staying. And we found it amazing that we would spend all this time trekking up into the mountains looking for various species of frogs. And we'd step right outside our door, and these guys were living over top the marshy area right behind our trailer. So we'd pull down some leaves, and there would just be frogs all down the back side of it getting ready to lay their eggs. Because what will happen is a male will get on the female's back, just like with every other frog or toad species, and perform what's called implexus. So he basically hugs her and grabs on really tight. And if she accepts him, she will walk around like you saw her walking on my arm, dropping her eggs, and then he fertilizes them. And those eggs are on big leafy things overhanging standing bodies of water. And as they fertilize and germinate and then eventually hatch out, the tadpoles just drop down right into the water. And then depending on the amount of water around or temperature, they can actually develop faster. She's a very good hunter. I'm trying not to let her get on my bare skin because, like with most amphibians, we actually want them to be wet or on a pair of wet gloves. But she's a very good hunter because of her camouflage. She'll essentially eat any bug that she can get in her mouth. And the general rule of thumb is however big the space is between the eyes is about how big their food can be. And you see, she's got a very, very wide mouth, so she can handle very large insects, things like cockroaches and katydids, and then crickets, and basically anything else that's going to be crawling along a tree or a branch or the leafy stuff that she likes to hang out on. So I've always been fascinated by these frogs. They've been my favorite for years and years and years. And I felt so fortunate that when I was down helping out EVAC, which is the Alvaje Amphibian Conservation Center, which I've talked about a few times, that I was able to find these guys in the wild and take all kinds of cool pictures and just get to see them in their natural habitat. People don't realize that keeping animals in captivity can actually help their wild counterparts. If we can keep these guys really well in captivity and breed them in captivity, that means that they don't have to be pulled from the wild anymore. And if their wild populations happen to go down due to disease or deforestation, climate change, or pollution, we have backup populations in captivity that can hopefully one day repopulate them out in the wild. But there's nothing better than seeing an amazing animal like this in its natural habitat. So I hope you have a greater appreciation for wild and exotic animals, and in particular this frog. I know I do. I really hope one day I can take some home and maybe get them breeding as well so we can have more of them around. So I hope you learned something cool about red-eyed tree frogs, and have a good night.